Clemson Sports Talk. Lawton Swan with you on a Monday afternoon. William Qualkenbush coming up in just a little bit. Always good to hear from Tony Elliott. And again, some of the insights and thoughts there on Eric Gilbert and Clemson's matchup with the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll get into a lot more of that here on the program today, obviously. And again, thank you for being a part of the show. We made some movements in studio. If you're getting the podcast, you might notice, well, you know what? I'll fix the beginning. I'll make it work. But glad to be back with you. And again, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends and neighbors, and even your friends' neighbors about the show that shakes the Southland. So this past weekend, had a chance to see Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne on the gridiron with Jacksonville. Also had a chance to got to hear from Justin Ross over the weekend, and that's always a good thing to get Jay Ross back at it and back busy for your Clemson Tigers. So again, I think from the standpoint of the Clemson Tiger faithful, the Clemson Tiger contingent, you're feeling good. You're feeling good about this matchup with Georgia. The Eric Gilbert news, if he does play or if he doesn't play, certainly has a huge impact on how I think people will feel about that game. Now, I'm not telling you that this is one player that changes the entire dynamic of this game, but he is good enough. He is good enough to be a player that could make a play that turns the momentum or makes a game-winning type play. I mean, he's that good, in my opinion. Has all the capabilities of being a fantastic player, even though, again, as I mentioned earlier, limited opportunities at LSU, but certainly the sky is the limit for a kid like that, as long as he can get everything right in between his ears. And even when the effects of having a child and some of the rumors that are out there, I saw some reports about maybe even his child potentially, well, I didn't see the reports. I saw speculation by a comment on the show that maybe he's got a child that's sick or dealing with an illness. And look, man, as a father, I can tell you that'll do it every single time. And I can't imagine being a father at 18 or 19 years old and trying to manage those types of things in addition to everything else that you're focusing on. So, I don't know that one way or the other we'll have any true idea for a while about Gilbert and what's going to end up happening with him in this ball game, but that's a big development. That's a big development. Again, also today we had a chance to hear from, well, when the internet was working right up in Tiger Town, or actually let me rephrase that. When the iPad wasn't overheating, we got a chance to hear from Braden Galloway, got a chance to hear from Davis Allen and also Jalen Lay. So 3 Clemson tight ends, ironically, getting out there and being able to talk about what's been going on with their position group, especially now with Coach Tony Elliott as the coach, which Braden Galloway said, look, I think that it might lend us more opportunities because our coach is the guy calling the plays. And I don't think that it necessarily I don't think you necessarily have to believe that, okay, we're only going to get more snaps or more opportunities if the offensive coordinator is our guy, but you got to think it at least helps a little bit. Not that Tony Elliott needs any more numbers in his resume, given the job that he's done there at Clemson as the offensive coordinator, especially given the run that he had alongside his good buddy and former stretching partner, Jeff Scott, who's now down at USF. All that being said, I can only imagine, what this group could look like if those 3 tight ends, and look, you got Sage Ennis, you got some other guys in the mix there, but if those 3 guys specifically begin to stand out and begin to become what I have felt like has been missing from this Clemson Tiger offense ever since Jordan Leggett left the program, and that is a relief valve. And there were moments a year ago, I think these guys totaled 50 receptions a year ago as a group, but there were moments a year ago where you felt like you had a little bit of that, especially from Davis Allen at times. And Braden Galloway, Jalen Lay, not yet really developing into what I think he could become, which is one of the largest targets in the country, maybe at tight end, although he has slimmed up a little bit this past year. But, just kind of a group of guys who I think DJ Uiagalelei can trust, who I believe DJ Uiagalelei could, and this is more on DJ than anything else, could find as a great relief valve for him when things break down. That I always thought that Mylan Richard would be a great tight end. Genetics, bloodlines, being the nephew of Herschel Walker and having the physique, just look like something you'd see at a museum sculpted, but it just never translated. And I think if you've played sports or been around sports long enough, and I'm not saying this is necessarily the deal with Mylan Richard, but there are just guys that can look the part, but aren't the part. And maybe it's a combination of a couple of things, whether it's drive and determination and motivation, whether it's actual athleticism, skill, and what I would call what's the coordination. Those things. Like if all of that's not coming together, then maybe you look at a guy and he looks like it's going to work, but it's not working. Well, I feel like Braden Galloway's always been closer to Leggett. I can see some real ability in Davis Allen. And I think we're still sort of the story of Jalen Lay and what he could give this team is yet to be told. But it was good hearing from those guys, good hearing from Tony Elliott. Again, that audio up on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. We'll get the audio of the tight ends up coming up a little bit.